All right, folks, we are back. This is your boy Val.
It's your boy Z. What's going on, people?
Yes, sir. We in the zone with VNZ, man. It's another week, man, and we've done said it for 5 straight weeks now. Another episode to catch up with y'all after a victory, man.
Big Dubs.
Big dubs in the building, so it feels really good. Obviously, for those who tuned in last week, I know we had some technical difficulties, so the video will still be up from the previous week. It just yeah, had to go through some BS to get that uploaded, but the audio definitely came out last week. But if you listened to us last week, I will say you heard that there was another birthday celebration that we just celebrated. That was mine, man.
Yes, sir.
Big 36.
Hey.
Shout out to those who reached out to me, those who saw me around my birthday, you, Iris, your wife, and just everybody who was able to show love, man, because every year I'm very low key with it now, to the point where if I do something, I do something. If I don't, I don't. But at the end of the day, I do appreciate the love. So shout out to y'all for the birthday wishes. And yeah, glad to see another year above ground. So, man, thank you, Z. Thank you, everybody. And it's on to the next one, baby. On to the next one. But speaking of on to the next one, man, we ain't even gonna bullshit y'all, man. It is Chiefs week. It is Chiefs week. It is Chiefs week.
Yep.
This has become a annual thing in the Josh Allen era, where we play Patrick Mahomes. You know, whether it's on the road or at home. This time I love it because I feel like the last few regular season Kansas City games were at Kansas City, which we had no problem handling. But this one is at home. 425 standalone game on CBS. And we'll get into that in about 15-20 minutes. But let's quickly reflect on this Indianapolis game. I know we don't got to spend too much time on it because
Sure don't.
I mean,
most weeks I don't mind.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, most weeks I don't mind diving into the last.
Yeah,
we're not doing recaps. However, man, this week is
this week is on a popping. But
yeah.
I'll just ask this of you, Z. Just quick thoughts on the Colts game.
It a gritty win. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't sexy, but they walked out with a W. I mean, to still be able to put up 30 points, 23 on offense, to put up 30 points as a team when you're down your top two receivers, you're down your top tight end the majority of the game, to still be able to put up 30 and walk out on the road with a win, you kind of can't ask for much. I mean, Josh definitely didn't have his greatest game. Probably a couple throws he wish he had back. Actually, not terrible decisions, just bad results, and a hell of a play by Kenny Moore on that pick. But to walk out with a dub, a 7-point or a double-digit victory, which should have been more, except for a late garbage time touchdown. But to walk out of there with a victory on the road against a good running team with a veteran quarterback, a decent front seven at least, talent at the receiver, talent at running back, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, nah, I'm with you, man. Gritty win. Did it get any style points? No, but you're not always gonna get style points. I think defensively, my quick thoughts on the overall game is just how proud I am of the defense for just stepping up.
Yeah, they held their own.
Yeah, because when you know that you're down your two top weapons, and then your third weapon goes down in Dalton Kincaid in that second half, now you're forcing your offense to kind of play a little bit different than what they normally would. Now, the great thing is they still had their three running backs who were able to be there to support Josh. I think James Cook had a very, very solid game. Ray Davis came in and a couple times did what he had to do. Ty Johnson coming up with a couple big catches like he normally does. But just shout out to the defense though for making plays. Like I've been saying, this is the year where McDermott as a coach was going to kind of be tested, because we knew that this year was going to be tough. I think we both said around 10-11 wins we'll be happy. We knew defensively, you lose your safeties that you've had back there for the last 7 years and you replace them with one pretty much a backup his whole career in Damar Hamlin, and then you got Taylor Rapp in here who just only had 1 year under his belt with this system. We didn't know what to expect, but when you see those guys making plays on the ball, Taylor Rapp gets another interception, Damar Hamlin gets another fumble recovery, Taron Johnson has a vintage, Taron Johnson game where he's just impacting the run game. rushing the quarterback, then getting a pick six. And then you're seeing Greg Rousseau making plays, AJ Epinesa making plays. The defensive tackle Johnson in there with another interception. So, I mean, hats off. Terrell Bernard, don't want to forget about him, but hats off to the entire defense, because to me, my quick thoughts is that they can build off this, especially when pretty soon you're going to get that guy 58. And when you get 58 back there alongside Bernard, alongside the other veterans that you just added to the D line, and you continue to try to have your ends build off, really build off their what they've doing game to game. Really speaking about Greg Rousseau and AJ Epinesa, if them two can continue to build and be more consistent on the outside, this is a great time to do it. I mean, I don't want to rush November, but we looking at December. We can see it. December is no longer months away. We are weeks away from December. We are a month and a half away from January. And if we can get this defense to match what we've gotten from offense from this point, oh man, it's gonna be scary. So just real quick before we go to Kansas City, man, who was your outside of the obvious, because we always try to stick away from the obvious, man, who was your one player that got your attention the most on Sunday?
I feel like I do one on offense, one on defense. My defense is, I think it is obvious. It's like just the top tier level of Taron Johnson is just, it's amazing how good of a player that he is and how valuable he is to this defense. Like, they literally can do what they do schematically and systematically because he's as good of a football player as he is. Like, his IQ, his ability to just stick his nose into the run game, his coverage ability, his zone ability. Like, he is the full package when it comes to a football player. Like, pound for pound, one of the best players in this league, and still extremely underrated, even as an All-Pro.
Shout out to him winning Defensive Player of the Week too. That was announced.
Yeah, so. That's why I say it wasn't, in my opinion, a little obvious.
Yeah.
He played a hell of a game, and he deserves so much credit for why this defense has been as good as it has been these last 6-7 years. He plays a key part. Like, as many good. I mean, we've had the Trey Whites, we had the Micah Hydes, we had the Jordan Poyers. Like, we've had very solid players, and I don't know if I can say with confidence that any of those players have been better or more meaningful to this defense than Taron Johnson, and he continues to disprove that game in and game out.
Right.
Like, and he's not a big interception getter from a number standpoint, but the ones that he does get are all meaningful, all massive plays, and half the time end up in a pick six, which is, talent all in itself. From an offensive standpoint, numbers wise is nothing crazy, but I gotta keep giving shout outs to Mac Hollins, man. Like, he is showing up when they need him. They down their top two receivers. He the top guy outside, but he keeps making timely plays. He keeps drawing timely penalties.
Right.
Keeps picking up touchdowns. Nothing this week, but that catch right before the end of the half, the ability to get open in that scramble drill, catch the ball, get up, get out of bounds. Like, he just continues to make plays when Josh needs. Like, the safety net role he's playing right now, he's playing it to pure perfection. Like, he's holding his own, man. And I never really threw too much shade his way. I just never really wanted him as one of my top 3 guys. But in the role that he has in this offense, he's playing his job and doing his role to perfection. And I got to give him a shout out. Like, he's holding it down for this team right now.
Yeah, I mean, and the only thing I can add, I think you already nailed it from a defensive standpoint. The only other one I give a shout out to is the D line for just stepping up more so towards the second half of the game. When Jonathan Taylor obviously got his first 100 yards in like 2 seconds, but the way they were able to buckle down, get key stops, strip sack from Rousseau, Epinesa with a sack, Austin Johnson with an interception, Ed Oliver making plays, Quentin Jefferson with a sack. So definitely wanted to collectively get a shout out to the D line for just riding the wave of that game, because like I said, it didn't start off great, but they were able to, find ways to impact the passing game and get Joe Flacco off his spot, which Joe Flacco at this point in his career, he ain't trying to do too much. He ain't trying to move around. He ain't trying to make nobody miss. My man's trying to let that ball go, and that's it. So the fact they were able to get him to the ground, forcing him into some turnovers, credit to the D line for that. But offensively, I think you said it with Mac Hollins. I won't lie, I was critical of him. I just was just like, I remember he shut me up in like the first week or two when he got a touchdown in our end zone at the game. I'm just like, okay, I mean, I guess he's gonna score touchdowns, but like, I never really thought of him much more than kind of what you said, a 4, a 5.
I
You
mean,
know,
shit, 9 weeks in, 10 weeks in, he leading the team in touchdowns.
yeah, which is crazy. But it's next man up mentality, and I think the thing about him is as crazy, weird as he tries to be, or that he truly is. He is one of those guys who embodies that though, and really just understands like, listen, this game is all about knowing your role and knowing when to step up. And Matt Collins has showed, like, listen, man, if you're gonna call my number, I'm just gonna try to stay as prepared as I can. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be out there looking like Randy Moss or the next Larry Fitzgerald. But what I'm going to do is do my best to give effort, play smart, and when I gotta make a play, I'll make a play. And he's done that for Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen appreciates that. And Josh Allen, one of those guys, I've said it before, is once he realizes he can trust you in certain situations, he'll come back to you. He'll look for you. Whether in the red zone, whether it's the scramble drill when he running out the pocket to the right, as I like to call the Steph Curry 3, he gonna find you. We know he's got that kind of relationship with Khalil Shakir, where it's like, if he can get Khalil Shakir in the slightest bit, find him open or whatever, he gonna get that ball into Shakir. So love what Mac Hollins is bringing from a backup standpoint, because I do realize like this wasn't supposed to be his role. I know he ended up starting week 1, but like they were going to try to ease Keon Coleman in, still get him a bunch of reps, but they weren't going to put too much pressure on Keon. So that ended up increasing Mac's, usage on the field. But like Mac Hollins is showing, injuries or not, I'm ready if you need me to be ready. And the funny thing is, I thought that was always going to be Curtis Samuel, being that 3, that 4, that 5 that could just come in and just make plays when called upon. You know what I mean? Like, so I was wrong on that. Like I said, there's still time to be had for Curtis to make an impact, just because they're going to need him to. Every once in a while come up with a catch, as he kind of did a couple times in that first half.
Yeah, early they definitely did a good job of targeting them and getting them to the game early, which helped that offense get into a flow early too. So it was nice, seeing some Curtis Samuel sightings early.
Yeah, for sure. But outside of that, the only other one I was going to add was just James Cook. I think that he has probably become one of our more underrated players on offense. It is wild to kind of say, just because we always talk about Josh, we talk about Keon when Keon was getting crazy, we talk about Khalil Shakir, we talk about how good the offensive line has played, and it's almost like we almost take for granted how good James Cook truly is. And just watching his jump from last year, and last year was a Pro Bowl year for him, but just seeing him take the Pro Bowl year and not be satisfied. You know what I mean? You get a young dude, sometimes they get that first taste of being a Pro Bowl player, 1,500 yards from scrimmage, and they like, all right, I'm good now. You know what I mean? But you can tell he's a little hungry. Whether it's the money that he's looking for down the line, or whether he just wants to hold on to that number 1 running back spot. You see him playing with a little bit more physicality. You see him hitting the hole a little harder. But the way he is able to get through the tackles, man, and find positive yards, and really just a unique ability to just kind of skate across that field to make it look easy when we know it's not, because we've seen running backs struggle to get 1 yard. Shoot, I remember the days of Boobie Dixon starting. You know what I mean? Shout out to Boobie, but like I've seen some ugly football at the running back position. Not too many years in Buffalo, because we've always kept a decent running back, but like James Cook makes playing running back look easy.
Yeah, we was definitely rolling Mike Tolbert out.
Oh my gosh. But like, yeah, so shout out to James Cook, man. I think he had about 80 yards and had the touchdown, of course. That's his 9th total touchdown on a year. So he's like 1 away from double digits on the season already, and we're not even in the month of December. So shout out to James Cook, Mac Hollins, the D-line, and
and I do want to say shout out to Josh Allen. I mean, officially number 2 all-time rushing touchdowns in Bills history, which sounds crazy to say. Right. One, that he is still a relatively young football player, but 2, bro, this is your quarterback. And the Bills got some running backs in their history too. Yeah, like my man just passed Juice. I mean, it's
all he got above him now is Thurman Thomas. Like he literally might end his career being
with every damn record,
the all-time rushing leader, and a ton of other records. So like that's why when I tell, like, not to interrupt what you're saying, and I'll let you add to that if you want to. That's why I tell people, like, focusing on those individual awards that he may get or may not get really don't matter when you look at the fact that he's literally going to shatter every record possible for this team and in the NFL, and he will be a Hall of Fame quarterback first ballot. So, like, yes, will an MVP next to that matter? I mean, maybe, to make us feel good, but like, we are watching a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like, it is what it is, guys. Like, let's be happy that we have one. Like, and he's 28. He's still in his prime. So like, let's and arguments aside, let's enjoy this ride, because arguably he's probably going to go down as one of the best, if not the best, dual threat we've ever seen at the quarterback situation. And that's saying a lot, because I was watching a documentary the other day on Steve McNair, hell of a dual threat quarterback back in the day. I got a chance to watch Michael Vick's whole career. Got a chance to watch, prime Vince Young. Got a chance to watch Donovan McNabb. There's so many guys out there. I know Steve Young was one that I kind of missed out on. I ain't that old. I know I'm 36, but I ain't catch prime Steve Young. But so many great dual threat quarterbacks in our history. We're currently watching Lamar Jackson too, but Josh Allen right now got a case that, I mean, where you ranking him at? If you ain't ranking him one, what is he, 2, 3? But he right there, and it's just a pleasure watching him. But I don't know if you want to add anything else to that.
No, that's it. That touched on everything. It's just I just would just love to just look back when it's all said and done and to see how many of these records he end up shattering. Like his name will be all over this team's record books, and it's dope to see.
For sure. But y'all, we started off by saying it, but it is Chiefs Week. This is a great opportunity. I know there's been conflicting reports from fans on how they feel about this game, whether it's important, whether it's not. Guys, we don't got to fool ourselves. We know that the main goal is to beat them in the playoffs, and outside of beating them in the playoffs, because somebody else could knock them off in the playoffs for all we know. Outside of beating them in the playoffs, you still got to beat who's on your schedule. So they're on your schedule. They're undefeated, right, and they're coming home. So we can try to prepare for heartbreak. I think that's what some fans are doing. They're like, you know what? Just so I don't get too emotional.
It's priming the pump. Like, this game don't matter. No, it matters.
It do.
It matters. And you'd be lying if you said it didn't.
You know what I mean? Like I get it. I've been there before. I had to guard myself a bunch of times going into games. Like, you know what? Win or lose, we still number one in the division.
And I do get where they saying where, even if the Bills win, it don't matter unless they do it in January. That's all well and good, but we're not there yet. This next game
is on
determines what the next month and a half looks like.
Right.
You lose this game here, then that 1 seed is pretty much all but gone. So that determines what your next handful of games look like. Because now that 1 seed's out of reach. Now, am I just trying to lock this 2 seed in, and then am I thinking about resting players on the back end with the division already all but locked up? But if you win this game here, you are close to being in the driver's seat. Well, yeah. You still need some help because you would need at least one more loss. But the 1 seed is still in sight. So this game definitely has important ramifications, but this is not for the trip or the right to go to the Super Bowl. So yeah, it don't matter to that extent, but it's an important game.
And the funny thing is, for me, and I know we know the history of Andy Reid and Pat, they'll figure shit out, they'll do this and that. But we always talk about beating them in January. Who's to say that by the time January come, somebody don't knock them out in the division?
Right. These teams may not even line up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they could be beat by Baltimore in the playoffs. We've seen how close Baltimore played in week 1. You know what I mean? So they could be beat by Baltimore.
They run up against one of their divisional foes, and
all Denver got to do is kick a field goal.
Essentially an extra point, as short as that shit was.
Right. So you still got to think about how well Denver is playing. Pittsburgh is playing at a high level. We already talked about Baltimore.
You got Cincinnati, who can very well be a wild card team.
Houston is going to have Nico Collins back soon, so we'll see what that looks like for their offense. But like, it's not just and obviously the Chargers, but it's not just just not a lock. And I think we just get so used to, obviously we're mesmerized by what Reid and Mahomes have done, and they deserve all the credit in the world.
Absolutely.
But at some point in their journey, they gonna have a year where it just don't add up. You know, we see that happen in every sport. I don't got to go through all the teams, all the sports, but in every sport, that dominating team gonna slip up. It's just who's gonna be that team to step up if they do slip up, or who's gonna be that team to knock them out that given year. So right now we got two big candidates, and that's Baltimore and Buffalo. But right behind them, Pittsburgh playing aggressive mean football. Cincinnati, all they need to do is finish games.
Right.
So it's just a matter of take care of the games that's in front of you. And for the Bills and for Bills fans, it's this week. So let's get into the matchup. We got Terrell Bernard playing. We know Dorian Williams is going to be playing for the at least the next couple weeks. What do you think is going to be that key matchup, for our defense going against that offense?
I think, and again, one thing I'm curious about is, yes, this is a very big matchup. Obviously, an undefeated Kansas City team, an 8-2 Buffalo team that has met every year for the last 4 or 5 years, met 3 out of the last 4 years in the playoffs. Like a team very familiar with themselves. Are they going to pull out all the stops, or are they keeping some stuff in the tuck, knowing they may play each other again? Because what I'm curious to see is what Buffalo does to counteract some of the issues they had in the playoffs last year. Kansas City, they ran 3 tight ends a ton that game, and that gave Buffalo a lot of issues. You know, we're nickel defense. We got Taron Johnson out there. We're giving up a lot of size, a lot of mass. So what can they do differently to counteract that 3 tight end look that they did a lot of last year? And now, what are we going to do with Kelsey plus the addition of DeAndre Hopkins? So that is kind of what I'm curious to see is what's the Bills' counterpunch to when Kansas City goes heavy if they choose to do so, and now how are they going to be shifting their coverages when they have a much more of a threat at receiver than they did previously? Rashee Rice last year was already up and going by the time playoffs ran around, so he was a threat last year too. But now that you have a bona fide stud who's done this year in year out, you have him on the outside with Kelsey on the inside. What are you doing to mix and match that?
Yeah, I think that you bring up valid points. I know for me, I'm really just going to be keying on the matchup of the two outside weapons, and that's going to be Kelsey and Hopkins versus Rasul Douglas, Taron Johnson, and I want to throw in Terrell Bernard too, because I think they're going to mix. I think they're going to mix it up on Kelsey at least, because you got Dorian Williams when they're in man. Dorian Williams can cover Kelsey just because.
I'm curious if this again, do we see any more Cole Bishop? Again, he hasn't got a ton of snaps on the field yet, but this is someone who throughout college they deemed him as a tight end eraser. So do we see some more dime looks?
Yeah, and instead of Cam Lewis, put in Cole Bishop. I like that. That's a good call right there. So maybe Cole Bishop is mixed in there, but I really think that's going to be the key matchup, because I think, Andy Reid is so smart, right? Patrick Mahomes and those guys, they are so good at coming up with good defensive, offensive plans. Because one might say they might come in there and just say, you know what, the Bills' weakness is they can't really stop the run consistently. So they might just say, Kareem Hunt, we're giving you the ball 20 times. So I think in the first half, because this team has been very good. The Bills have been very good with making adjustments. I think in the first half, the Bills will figure out if the Chiefs are going to come in just trying to be aggressive and run it down their throat, or if it's going to be a game where they got to make sure that their coverage is tight on the outside and on those inside routes from Kelsey. Because Kelsey going to do some stuff. He going to work the middle of the field. He going to try to look for the mismatches. I mean, they have such great chemistry that they will find different creative ways. And sometimes it's even not so creative. I think that's the thing that pissed me off going back to the playoffs. It's like some of that stuff, and I know we had our backup linebackers in there. AJ Klein was fresh off the couch. Some of those plays he was getting open on, I was just like, dog, we just leaving him open at this point. Because why is he down the field 20, 25 yards without a person in sight?
Yeah, if nothing else, Travis Kelce knows how to find a soft spot in his own. Like he's probably the best tight end that's ever done it. Like he just knows where the weaknesses in the zones are, where the weaknesses in man are, and he he gets there, and he has a quarterback who can read the field the same way that he can.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
Kelsey has always given the Bills fits. I don't think we kept them in check any of the damn games we played them, at least in the playoffs, at least.
Right. But I will say, like I said, to finish my last point on the defense versus their offense matchup, I really feel like it's really going to come down to the back. Because I mean, normally I like to talk about the trenches, but I think the Bills may be okay because they've done it before in Orchard Park. We're letting them run the ball a little bit. You know what I mean? Hey, you want to hand it off to them 30 times? Be my guest. We just don't want Patrick Mahomes to sit back there, get comfortable, and slice and dice us up. But if y'all want to give it a Kareem Hunt and let him have 85, 90 yards, but we can just contain them to, stop him from scoring 20 points, then cool. But I think the Bills know is when you let Patrick get in that rhythm and get back there and start making his splash plays or finding Kelsey for 20 here, 30 there, find Hopkins down the sideline for a big game. I think that's when you get them, you get them going. But if they got to sit down and they got to take their time and run the ball, Kansas City will take that any day of the week. Because at this point, I think most people realize all they care about is winning. They like, listen, I don't care if it's 14-11. We gonna figure it out and we gonna win the game. But in this type of matchup with these two big time quarterbacks, you're not gonna tell me Mahomes ain't gonna want to show off his arm a little bit, especially in Buffalo. So I think that the Bills' best bet is lock down that passing game. Make sure that Douglas and Benford are doing their job on the outside. Make sure you have a game plan for Kelsey, like you said. Maybe it's Cole Bishop, maybe it's Bernard and Taron Johnson. Finding different ways to kind of zone them out. It's going to be interesting, but got to eliminate Kelsey and Hopkins, or at least reduce the amount of times that they have big plays. And yeah, Kareem Hunt. If you want to have a day, have a day. We just can't let that man score 12 touchdowns. That's all. Mm-hmm. But to flip it on the other side, man, what do you think the Bills' offense got to do?
Shit, right? it's the biggest thing is Cooper going to be in the game, because I think that's going to dictate a lot of what they have to do. Like if Cooper's not in the game, what can they do schematically to keep Kansas City from just really crowding that 10 to 15 yard mark? Because right now, if without Cooper, there is no still true field stretcher out there. And with the amount of pressure that Kansas City can generate, with the amount of talent at the corner and safety position alone, they can cause a lot of trouble. So, if we're stuck on just, horizontal routes or trying to get, 5-6 yard passes and run after the catch, if we're not able to scheme something up down the field, Kansas City be able to just sit back on those routes and just be able to jump and pounce on those. So like for me, this needs to be a game to really see what Joe Brady can do to create some space and create some mismatches. Just because, with Cooper, that's a different dynamic, because they have to account for him. They have to account for his ability down the field and contested situations across the middle, all that. But without him in there, seeing where Kincaid is, if Kincaid is going to be back, he's not practicing today. So, I mean, obviously we have to see where he goes from here. But, with Keon already out, Keon already out, Cooper to be determined and Kincaid to be determined, this might be a game where we're going to have to let those running backs get loose, run the ball, passes out the backfield, find creative way to get Shakir the ball in his hands quickly. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a big schematic game, especially if Cooper's not able to play.
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely going to have to be a Joe Brady masterclass. Joe Brady has shown, just like they have on defense, that he can make adjustments on the fly. So I'm definitely glad about that, because I mean, it's been many years where if the first half was a dud, sometimes the second half was a dud, and it led to us just losing the game. But we found different ways. I mean, even including this past week, where we have struggled at times in the first half, but then figured out how we want to take advantage of certain matchups and go from there. But I think it's going to be the ground game this time. I think Kansas City, as most know, top 2 or 3 defense. They got big bodies up front. Mainly Chris Jones is the guy who is just a game wrecker. But I think the way you stop all that is you get creative with the run game. You mix and match, personnel. Sometimes it's going to be James Cook on the outside. Sometimes it's going to be Ray Davis straight up the gut, maybe a little Ty Johnson here and there. And then I think the last piece of the run game that I'm going to be looking at is Josh Allen. I think this is one of those few games left on the schedule. I think there's a couple other ones. Probably Detroit, maybe a little bit of San Fran, but I don't know. They hit a little crazy, so we might have to not do it for San Fran. But at home, Kansas City, got the crowd involved too. I think you're gonna see a little Josh Allen making plays on the ground.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna pinpoint that at some point. Like this is one historically against Kansas City, he's always had a lot of carries compared to his other games.
Yeah.
But with the offense, somewhat banged up or somewhat limited,
Yep.
and with Kansas City as aggressive and as good as they are in defense, he may not have a choice but to run, whether it's design runs or scrambles. He may not have that much of a choice.
That's a fact too. So I'm looking at the combination of that three-headed monster at running back, and then him just sometimes having to put on that cape just to get a first down sometimes, or sometimes do what he did last week against the Colts. Sometimes it's just 18 yards out, just getting the end zone, right? You know what I mean? Take a defender with you, and we out, fam. Because he has that ability, and I think Josh knows how big this game is, just to kind of help them going into the bye week. You don't never want to go into a bye week with a loss, because then you got to talk. Oh, we got the bye week to heal up. We learn from it. Blah blah blah. Nah, you won't go into the bye week saying, "Man, big win for us." Now let's heal up. Let's get ready for San Fran coming out of the bye, and let's get ready to make a run to close out the year. That's what I'm looking forward to. I think most of those guys on the team now understand what it is to be a Buffalo Bill, because I think early on we kind of talked about it in the first 4 or 5 weeks. We're like, so many new faces, people in different roles. Sometimes they don't understand what that standard is. And I think now we're 9, 10 games in. I think most of those new guys, most of those veterans who are now done played, more than a handful of games with the Bill, they kind of like, okay, this is okay. This is the level of play that we gotta be at. And this is how I stay on the field, and this is how I build trust with Josh. So I think that Josh is going to play a big part in what we see on offense. It's what he does on the ground, improvising, buying himself extra time. And then I just think those running backs, whether it's in the pass game or the run game, I think that three-headed monster right there, mainly the top two, mainly Ray Davis and James Cook, I think that's going to make up for a little bit of what they're losing with Keon Coleman and possibly Amari Cooper. I think those running backs going to have something to say when the day is over. Like I said, if James Cook can't find his rhythm earlier, cool. I got Ray Davis. Ray Davis struggling, cool. I got Ty Johnson. He's struggling for whatever reason. I still got Josh Allen. I still got the tight ends who I can get involved. I still got Khalil Shakir on the outside who I can move around. And hopefully, an underrated person that I'm looking to once again pop is Curtis Samuel. You know what I mean? We talk about explosive plays that's going to be needed. That's a guy who, unlike Mac Hollins, I can say if he got a full head of steam, he can blow by a corner. He can get by a safety. If it's man to man or if he got a head start. So I'm looking for a little bit more involvement from Curtis Samuel in the passing game this week. I'm looking for Dawson Knox to have his typical game against Kansas City during the regular season where he makes a play or two. So I think we're gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a little bit missing those guys, but I think I listened to Dominique from Get Up this morning. He was just like, man, listen, forget analytics. Forget all these receivers we talking about them not having. Josh Allen gonna be Josh Allen on Sunday. He gonna turn into Josh, as they like to call him, Devontae Allen or whatever they be making up nicknames for him. Josh gonna bring some swagger on him on Sunday, and I just look forward to, him driving him a little crazy, trying to catch him on Sunday and getting the crowd involved. But before we do any predictions, who do you think, when it's all said and done, if we come out with a victory, who do you think that person is going to be, or maybe that group, maybe that position is going to be the key to our victory on Sunday?
Bills D-line.
Okay.
One thing we have not been able to do at all is sniff Patrick Mahomes. But our for the most part, our D-line is healthy. We're short Dwayne Carter. That's it. D-ends are healthy. Well, Smoot too, but D-ends are healthy. D-tackles are healthy.
Okay.
Can you do something? 21. Can you do something for me? Greg Rousseau. Von Miller. Epinesa.
Von. Hey.
Von.
Von. Great game. Great game to,
This is what you here for, dog. 40.
Yeah, for
You know why you here. And it's this light-skinned dude. It's him. Go
yeah.
get him.
Yeah, Vine. This will be a great game if you're listening. No, you're not. I can send it to you. But if you're listening, man, we need you on Sunday. I like that. D-line group is definitely going to play a big part in it because whether they're stopping Kareem Hunt or just getting their hands up, just defending Patrick Mahomes, they're going to have to obviously get some level of pressure on him. But I'm gonna stay on the defensive side too and say if we get the W, I think a large part is going to be to our corners. I think what we going to get from Benford, Douglas, Taron Johnson, and I'll just stick with those three for now. I think what they're able to do in the passing game is going to decide a lot because if they can get Patrick Mahomes to hold on to the ball just another half a second, another second, that's going to tie into what you just mentioned with the D line. That's going to give Greg Rousseau a chance to come around, make his life miserable. For Von Miller to come around, boom, get through one of those young guys, young tackles, get them going. Because I still believe that one dude, he's jumping all the time, Juwan Taylor, whatever his name is. Yeah, I mean, I hate the way he plays tackle. He's just always, to me, is jumping. But we're gonna have something for that on Sunday because we're gonna make the crowd impact a little bit of that. But I really think it's gonna be corners though. I think Rasul Douglas, last time they played Patrick Mahomes, I don't even know if we had two healthy corners that game. I know Rasul Douglas was playing at like 70%, but he said
had no linebackers.
Yeah, no linebackers. Von was definitely not Von. I think Von even tell you that. So like it's going to be kind of a brand new defense that Pat has not really seen in like 2 years. Because that defense that he played against last year was not the Bills defense by any means. And it's not to say that they're going to be fully healthy this week. Still going to be missing Matt Milano. I still don't believe Daquan Jones is 100%, but I know he ain't going to let nobody take him off the field. So I just think the corners though going to have something to say. I know Rasul Douglas is still fiending for that first interception on the season. So
he's had his hands on a bunch.
He has. I mean, he got to be up there in pass deflections on the season. But I know it's coming. Will it come against Patrick Mahomes? Who knows? That'd be a great time. But under the bright lights, because we know it's going to be dark by 5 o'clock. Under the bright lights, I can see the defense and I can see the corners and the line kind of going, feeding off each other. And, because I mean, to be honest with you, they should be looking at a lot of what Denver did and kind of steal a lot of that game tape because what do Denver got going for them? They got a pretty decent pass rush, but
they got a good defense, all top to bottom, one of the best.
And they got very good corners on the outside, like Patrick Surtain. I know people talk about him, but I don't know if he gets talked about enough.
He's one of the best corners in the league.
Top 3,
top 5, yeah,
easily. Like Sauce Gardner, forget about it. Put that boy in the back of the bus right now. Like I'm not hearing about a dude with 2 career interceptions. I'm done having that conversation.
Austin Johnson out here, baby.
Austin Johnson out there. You know what I mean? I almost got as many interceptions as him. All I need is 2. All right. I'll be tired. But I think our corner is going to come to play. Because if Denver can hold them to 12, 14 points, whatever the case may be. And I know it's a division game, but I don't care. If Denver can if Denver can do it, I feel like with our guys coming back healthy, having Von Miller back there, having Benford back there, the safety tandem has been working so far. I would love to get some Cole Bishop action, but why change what's been working lately? So with that being said, we will go to those predictions because we don't, like we said, this week we get straight to the money with the Chiefs. We know what time it is. There's no time to bullshit. So what do you have? Oh, I might add too. We were pretty close. I know I last week with the Colts, I know I said 30 to I think I said 30 to 17 or 27. What I said, I know you said 30, they was gonna score 30, and I was like, they was gonna score 27, but I was like, you know what, 4 points, gave them 30, just was off. That late touchdown kind of messed things up. But
yeah, I gotta run the tape back from last week.
I know you guys
down, but I'm pretty sure I was like 30 to something. But I don't think I wanted to start writing.
Start jotting them down. Maybe somebody else will hold us accountable in the comments. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to run back to recording from last week and double check that. But yeah, we was close on that one. That last garbage touchdown, man. I lost some money on the squares on that one, man.
I know somebody lost money in the square. I was thinking
had me tight. I had my square hit the first 3 quarters. I had 3 and 0. I'm like, yo, shit, we Gucci.
We Gucci. Start playing it something like, I might as well cop this coat in the cart.
Get that extra money coming through. Them boys hit that garbage time touchdown. I said, you know what? Fuck Indianapolis, man.
Yeah.
The
They
boys,
shady
I said,
fat.
come on, man.
Did that right on Covington too.
Man, put that on everybody. Put that on everything.
Put that on everything.
But this week, man. The reason why I hate Kansas City games so much is just like Josh and the Bills get up for good opponents. Kansas City does the same thing. They can look like trash all season, and then they go up against the Bills, and it's always their best looking game of the season. It's so frustrating.
Right.
But again, the iron sharpens iron, so I see why it happens. But Kansas City has been beatable or looked beatable all year, and watch this week they look like an unstoppable force. Like it's so damn frustrating. So honestly, man, I don't even know how this game is going to turn out. Right now, it's a 2-point Bills 2-point favorites at home, and essentially that's just a pick 'em.
Right.
I right now am leaning towards whoever got the ball last going to win the game. It's going to be last second field goal, last minute touchdown. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Kansas City wants to muck this game up. I think they want to play this as because again, just look at how they've been winning so far. Long, methodical drives, third down conversion. They just driving up and down the field. Next thing you know, they win in 24-21, 24-17, 20-17. Like they haven't put up crazy numbers this year.
Right.
But they've been successful doing what they do. So I'm thinking now, can Kansas City be as successful on third down against Buffalo with the better defense or a good defense and also a quarterback who can punch back with them? So I'm curious to see how Kansas City wants to play this game. Are they going to drop back and let this just be a slugfest, or are they going to kind of slow play this and see if Buffalo can remain patient and play big boy ball and let Kareem Hunt get 25 carries? So very curious to see. But right now, I think this is going to be a game that's going to end up in the 20s. So 27-24, 28-26, 28-27, somewhere in that realm. I think there's going to be some points that are going to be scored, though. Over under is, 45.5. So they're thinking a low 20 score.
45.5?
Yeah, so they think 23, 21,
they think
24, 21, somewhere along that lines.
That's what I was leaning around too. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go and say 27-24 with a Buffalo win.
27-24. So you flipping the script from the playoff game. Obviously, Chiefs won 27-24. So this time Bills going to do it. I like it. That's the Bills obviously covering the spread and also over on the points. So for those gamblers at home, if you want to follow Z lead, there you have it. I'm taking the under on the points. I got 24-20 Bills. I just think that once again in the first half there'd be a lot of excitement, a lot of hitting, a lot of yapping maybe. But I think once it settles down, we get to the fourth quarter, you kind of set it. It's going to come down to those last couple drives, last 7 minutes, last 6 minutes. Who got the ball, who can make a stop, who can make an interception, maybe a fumble. But I think that ultimately the Bills defense will make a play when it matters in that fourth quarter, and that will ultimately lead to a victory of 4 points. So Kansas City is going to somehow, some way get a chance to take a nice lead. But I think the Bills defense is going to rise up to the occasion, especially at home. I think for whatever reason, the Bills defense has played better at home. I think of the times that they've kind of looked a little bit not like themselves, were essentially 2 road games, one at Baltimore, a little bit at Houston, a little bit they showed some sloppiness. But I think at home, man, they feed off that energy of the crowd so much, and the crowd gonna be ramped up. I'm sure there's gonna be Chiefs fans there, but Bills Mafia gonna come out to play. You know what I mean? So I think they're gonna feed off that energy. Like I said, I expect some weird stuff to go down as always. It might be a flag here, a flag there, some boos here, a boo high there, a one-hand catch there. It's going to be everything that we always ask for, because one thing I can say about these matchups is that for as hyped up as they get by the media, it some way, somehow always lives up to the hype. Whether it comes down to I don't want to say it, but whether it comes down to a special teams, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
It always comes down to something going on, whether it happens in the first half or it happens in the fourth quarter. There's always something.
I just hope it ain't a penalty
I
either
know.
way.
That's why I said I ain't trying to speak too
Yeah,
much.
whatever happens at the end of this game, I want it to be between the players, and I wanted nothing to do with a yellow flag.
Right.
Either way.
Right. Let's leave the flags at home. I mean, obviously, if it's unnecessarily, if it's something that you got to call, you call
You
it.
got to call, but I don't want no ticky tack. I don't want Josh or Pat looking at the ref, pointing like,
We're
no.
playing football. We're playing football. Like, and I think Josh knows it. That's why, as much as Josh gets crap for flopping, as they call it sometimes, LeBron does the same thing. Like, sometimes you got to sell it. When you know who you are, sometimes you got to sell it. You got to look back a little bit. But I think this is one of those games where you won't even catch Josh doing that. Josh is damn near, if he got to go head up with Chris Jones, he's going to go head up with Chris Jones. Do I want him
Advise
to?
that?
Yeah,
Hell
do
no.
I advise that? No. But this is a game where I don't expect him to be whining. I don't expect him to be trying to find flags. Like, this is going to be Josh Allen saying, listen, we got a bye coming up. I'll rest my body then. For this week, for this 425 game, 1-7 is coming to play. Now, I'm still going to protect the ball because that got to be at the top of his mind too. It's like, we don't need to keep this this interception streak going now. But let's be mindful and be smart with the ball. But I'm going 24-20. I think that there's going to be some parts of the game that's going to be one in the trenches, and that's why I said our running backs just got to come ready to play. James Cook, just feed off what you've been doing the last couple games. I expect Ray Davis to make an explosive play or two. I expect Dawson Knox to make a play or two. I expect Curtis Samuel to get in the mix. Khalil Shakir. And like I said, defensively, the reason why I got them stuck at 20 is like I truly do feel like they're going to put on their big boy hats and they're gonna have something for Hopkins. I think schematically they'll figure out something for Kelsey. And like I said, if anybody's gonna have a big day on that offense, I think it may be Kareem Hunt. But I'll live with that. If he ends up being a player of the game for Kansas City, I like our chances of winning. Because as we've seen around the league, you can have a great game. Shucks, Jamar Chase had over damn near 300 yards the other day, but they still lost. So every once in a while, you're gonna get a talented player.
Them boys got to be feeling sick.
I know they putting up crazy numbers, but it's like, what's the record? So like that goes to prove in this league, guys will have big days, but it's just don't make sure everybody ain't having a big day. Like we can handle one of y'all having a big day, but we can't have all three of your guys or four of your guys having a big day. So I'm going Bills 24-20. What is your bold player prediction from the stat line?
Greg Rousseau, 2 sacks.
Wee. All right, I got two. I got one on offense. I got one Curtis Samuel touchdown because I've been trying to call it every other 4 weeks. So I got a Curtis Samuel touchdown and I got a Von Miller sack. I mean, nothing too crazy, nothing too bold. Nothing too crazy, nothing too bold. There are a couple other games going on around the league. I don't know.
So they about to maybe go back to my Dawson Knox, Ray Davis parlay from early in the season.
Hey, you might have to.
This be the week for it.
We know Knox. We know Knox.
Knox is good for a Kansas City touchdown. Bump that. Add that parlay in there.
Okay,
going back to the Knox Davis parlay.
Okay, I like the Knox Davis combo.
We out here.
Probably plus 800 on that too.
It's probably plus more than that.
I know. If you combine it two, it's probably like plus 1,500. Might have.
Yeah, a couple good games this week. That we got Washington, Philly, which I think is a nice matchup Thursday night,
and Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, Baltimore going to be a hell of a matchup.
Like it.
All of a sudden, man, I was shitting on Pittsburgh all off season, and they shut me right up.
Yep.
I can't say not a thing about them. I said they're gonna be lucky to find 6 wins, and damn it, they already passed that.
Man, so listen, that's why they always say you got to play the games. It's one thing to look at teams on paper and looking through the microscope and like, oh, okay, Jets might go win 10. All right, Dolphins probably gonna win 9, 10. You know, and Bills might win 10, 11. And now we 2 months down the line, we like, wait a minute. Jets might win 5.
Listen,
might win 7.
Jets. Look, I don't know who looking worse right now or who down worse is Jets or Dallas. Like both them teams.
Yeah, put them both in the bag and throw them out.
Terrible.
It's garbage day, baby.
Because you got, Dak done for the season now, but the Jets is just looking. I mean, you go to Arizona and just get destroyed. Hate to see it, aka love to see it.
AKA love to see it. Because
Love to see it. Like, dang.
people, if they get off to a rocky start, it is gonna go downhill so fast.
That's what I thought. I said if things don't go right, the downhill tumble is gonna be swift and it's gonna
Real
be
tumble,
painful.
right? And I don't even know if we even saw this tumble coming. Like I thought the tumble would be, you know what I mean? Maybe if they go 500, Aaron Rodgers is gonna start to think about retirement. But like, nah, you like 4 or 5 games below 500 now.
You
so
made the trade for Devontae Adams. You really going all in. So now you drafted, you traded for this disgruntled receiver who's not really doing much of anything. Aaron Rodgers looking like a complete shell of himself. The defense is a complete shell of itself from years ago. Sauce Gardner's is getting torched left and right.
Send Garrett Wilson this way. Y'all ain't taking care of him.
You know.
Send him to Buffalo. That's all I'm saying. Shit. Don't let us get our hands on somebody like that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But that ain't happening. But
I know it ain't. They ain't gonna trade in the division. But I'm just
saying,
would
be amazing. Would be amazing.
Wishful thoughts. But nah, we'll wrap it up with a obviously shout out to our hockey team. I know they went on a run. They lost their last game, but they had just won 3 straight last week. So you know, I'm fake keeping up. Z, you'll be proud of me. I'm fake keeping up. Heavy on the fake keeping up.
I hear you. Them boys lost to the worst team in the league yesterday. So
they supposed to do that.
So I'm, they get on my nerves. Tage Thompson day to day though. No long-term injury for him, so that's good. Shout out to Tage.
So my next one the other night against Philadelphia. That was a big bounce back after getting clapped by Indiana the other day. So
they ended up losing that game against Indiana?
They lost that game. Yeah, no, they were winning at one point, and then they
I had turned it off. I started watching something else. And they lost it.
Yeah, them boys, man. Indiana got hot. Boys started knocking down every shot they were putting up. But I was proud to see what they did against Philly the other night, just because Joel Embiid, it was his first game back. He still looked gassed. Paul George was looking nice though. Paul had about 30, but no Tyree Maxey, so we were able to take advantage of that. Cat still balling, the big bodega, the big purr, whatever you want to call him. Another double. Josh Hart, Mr. Iron Man, with a triple double. Jalen Brunson, not even at his best still. He's still trying to figure him out. Still had about 18.7 dimes. And Mikal OG, 24 points. So just running down my watching my boys. And I was telling Chris the other day, I said, man, they just got to get 20 plus games together.
Yeah.
The more games they play together and they get some other guys back from injuries, Mitchell Robinson and Prince Achua.
Yeah, once they get clicking, once they figure out their roles on the team,
exactly. They got guys.
It's a big overhaul from last year, so it's gonna take some time to get all that notched in to figure out who and what your role is.
Yeah, what's my role? Oh, you need to stay over here and just shoot. Okay, bet.
Yeah, and the biggest change is probably for Brunson, because before you being the full focal point, and now you don't necessarily have to.
Oh, for sure.
That's probably the biggest shift is how does his role change with this team?
I think that's 100%. I know we're not a basketball podcast, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But like Brunson right now is realizing like, so you don't need me to shoot the ball 30 times a game,
right? So I don't have to score 35 in order to win.
And it's like, yes, correct, yes, you got that. All right, cool. Let's adapt. Because right now I'm looking at it, I'm like, dog, you could go back to now averaging like 8 to 10 assists a game. Because like OG is going to get you 18 to 20. You got Mikal over there who can knock down shots. You got Cat, who right now are just playing like arguably a top 3 big men in the whole entire league. So it's like, you got guys. Now you can use them and you can like save yourself, for a couple of stretches in the fourth quarter. But like, I think it's mental right now for a guy like him, and those other guys, they'll find their role and go Knicks, baby. So
yeah, last thing before we wrap up, you watching that Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight on Friday? How you feeling about
I'm gonna try to watch, man. Me and Ev was talking, and I think she had the dates mixed up because she thought it was the 18th. So I'm like, wait, they're gonna have it on a Monday, so it's Friday, and that makes way more sense because I said that either needs to be a Friday or a Saturday event.
Yep, that is this Friday.
All right, I got Mike Tyson. I want to see the spread. I know Paul is going to miraculously cheat his way into winning because they probably got too much money on the line for him to lose. So will I expect a Mike Tyson victory? No, but I would love, and I think the internet would too, I would love to see Mike Tyson just go in there and knock boy lights out.
I just wish I knew if this is a real fight or not.
Right. I think most people do, and that's why they're going to get the viewership. And that's what I'm saying.
Is this going to be a real fight or not? Because it's sanctioned as an actual fight. This is going to count on both their records. Is this the real fight or not?
And
Are you able to actually fight and hit? There's no non-knockout clause or nothing like that. So y'all can fight, but is this really a fight or not? Or we just here for the check?
I think that's what it is, man. Unfortunately, man, and that's why I hate. I'm gonna tune in. I
Because
think
Mike, you old as hell, Mike.
yeah,
I
I think
need
it's
you
gonna
to
be
not
live on Netflix. Matter of
be out
fact,
here playing because that boy Jake Paul is strong enough to put a hurting on somebody with a clean punch. So
doing nails on Friday too. I'm gonna have to tell her she's gonna have to put that on the TV then. I know she don't want to miss that. Whoever doing her nails, and I don't know. It's gonna be fun then.
yeah,
Shit. Now I got
Friday.
Friday plans. All right. Now I can sit on my couch and grab me a couple of something and watch Mike Tyson for.
Yeah, Friday at 8. That's the plan. So I'm gonna be probably doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, we old now. We just like shit.
I ain't going nowhere. That's gonna be watched right here at the house. I got Netflix on every TV.
Oh yeah, I was about to say. I think at our big age, we got Netflix on every TV.
Yeah, every TV got a Roku, baby. We gonna
everybody.
We gonna get what we need.
So that should be fun. Like I said, this is that time of the year where whether it's college football, college basketball, the NBA, the NHL, I know baseball over, cool. NFL, it's shit on every night. Yeah, I mean, love your babies, love your spouses, and all that. But it's like,
shout out to UB, bowl eligible.
Oh yeah. Shout out to UB.
Like I said, night, little action.
Yeah, can't forget about what's going on in college football too. Like you mentioned, UB. I heard Indiana undefeated. There's a lot of little weird surprises in there. That's why it sucks for me because I'm the type to, bet on a couple college games.
Yeah,
I gotta be like 0 for 30 right now because them games. So
it's so crazy. It's so crazy trying to bet in college. Man. You got 45-point spreads. Like you get destroyed trying to bet college football.
Man, it's stupid. And every once in a while, I think I'm gonna get lucky. And then
shout out to Colorado, ranked in the top 20 now.
Colorado. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Buffaloes, Dion, primetime and those, Shador.
I see you. You're gonna be at Florida State next year. Book it. Prime.
Oh, you think so?
Man, they just fired their coach. Some boys like 1-9 right now. They just fired their coach the other day. Just think about the high step right to Florida State. I wouldn't be surprised. Let me put it like that.
If it ain't that, he gonna be on the Cowboys.
I hope not. I pray to God that don't happen.
Nah,
I can't root for him on
Jerry
that.
Jones like that. Yeah, he would have to have a real talk with Jerry Jones. Like, listen, Jerry, but you can't control none of these football moves. I'm sorry.
Jerry Jones, he not giving up enough power to a coach of that ilk, like someone who is that big of a personality. Yeah. Nah, it ain't. Jerry Jones is the star of the show.
Fuck it, we out to the Raiders then.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we'll see though. I mean, we're just talking now, but I've been telling people like you're not staying at Colorado that long. I mean, prime time is too big. Prime time is too big. He believes in like obviously trying to set kids straight, get them going in the right direction.
Yeah, I would not be surprised that boy at Florida State next year. The opening is there, the need is there. Obviously, that's his alma mater. That's where he made his name.
It makes sense.
Yeah, we'll see.
Come out of there too, so we'll see. But yeah, man. Listen, y'all. Like I told y'all, the video from last week should be up soon. Just had some technical difficulties. This one will be out ASAP. Definitely before the game. But man, we got a big one. Big game. Like I tell y'all all the time, man. Like, share, subscribe. If you see us out, say hello. Man, we got the whole CBS crew out there on Sunday too, man. 4:25. Not even a real 8 o'clock game. So that means that we won't all be getting home at after midnight, which is lovely. Get a chance to maybe get home before 11. We'll see. Yeah, I know, right? That's why I said maybe. But I think I could bet on before midnight. I think that's a safe bet. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I mean the next day is Monday, so I got to work and all that. But yeah, either way, should be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff going on that whole day. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna spend my whole day out there at the stadium. You going to the game this week, or you sold them already?
Hey, I will not be partaking.
Okay, hey, listen.
No, I got somebody from the crew is holding it down.
Okay, good.
But yeah, this ain't Z Stadium season.
Yeah, I know. I know. Once we break November, I know what time it is for you.
Yeah,
I ain't gotta ask.
Listen, I'll be back in January.
I'm sure.
I'm thinking about the San Francisco game. I'm on the fence for San Francisco.
That's gonna be a tough one to pass up.
It's because I've seen Kansas City. I haven't seen San Francisco in person yet. So
yeah,
Sunday night.
I'm
That's
with
the
you.
only thing that if it was Sunday at 1, I would definitely be there. But the night game, I'm like, I know it's gonna be cold.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fight.
It's gonna be
It's gonna be a fight.
first week of December. It's gonna be cold.
Oh yeah, I can't wait though. I can't wait. Black Friday weekend, so I might have to go into work for like an hour and dip out. Like, all right, I think I did my job. Peace.
Did my 111th.
Did my 111th, my 1 hour out of 7. So we here.
That's it.
Yeah. But y'all listen, man, we right at the hour mark. So we appreciate y'all as always for tuning in. Like I said, we are getting into, I mean, this ain't even the meat and potatoes of the schedule. This is like, man,
we passed that. We in there now.
We
in the home stretch. Listen, we got Kansas City this week, then a bye week, then we got what, 6 games left? Oh, we off and running, baby.
Probably 5, but it's like holiday season too. So like I urge you guys, man, if you ain't start your shopping, get something going,
listen,
get savings going.
This is big Buffalo Bills turn up season. November, December, that's when they get locked in and start ripping and running. So I'd love to see it. Let's get this shit rolling right now.
Let's do it, man. But this is your boy Val.
This your boy Zyrus. We're gonna holler at y'all next week.
Peace out, man. Go Bills, baby.
Go Bills.